Hey guys, it's Bronwyn here. I know I've done a terrible job at updating you on my life and music career over the last couple of months, so I thought I would do a couple of videos to update you all. I'm going to keep this first one kind of brief. A couple of months ago I set out on the Better Late Than Never New Zealand tour. It was kind of small compared to what I was hoping for, but it's just how it worked out with all the dates and everything I had on the go at the time. And at the same time I also released my Better Late Than Never EP, which was pretty exciting. So on the tour I did a private show in Timaru. I played at the Dog with Two Tails here in Dunedin with a couple of friends just before I left, and then my first official date I guess was Kaikoura, and I'd never played there before. I don't even know if I've actually been there. I wasn't really too sure what to expect. I hadn't been to the venue before, let alone played there, but I saw, or I still see, most musicians that go on tour always stop at the Strawberry Tree in Kaikoura, and I figured it's about time I had stopped there myself. Better late than never. The manager and everyone that I met beforehand when I was sound checking and things all seemed very hesitant about how busy it would be. It was a guaranteed gig, so at the end of the day it didn't really matter how many people showed up, but 4 hours is a long time to be singing to yourself. So when they started getting worried about how many people would show up, I started getting worried about how many people would show up. But it was an amazing night in the end. There were a few sound issues. Weren't my fault, weren't anyone who was actually present that day. It was the band the previous day's fault that was. But we got there in the end. It was a really good vibe that night. I just felt at the top of my game, which was really cool. And then the gig in Picton, it was very quiet there. It was a Sunday. It was, you know, starting to get into winter. We did expect it really. There was a couple of handfuls of people there to begin with, so I plugged in and played properly how I had planned, and then when some of those people disappeared there was 2 or 3 people that wandered in, so I just unplugged and went and played right beside them. It was quite cool. Just serenaded them as you do, and then I think when they left another couple came along too, so I just kept going with that. It was quite cool. And then I had a couple of days off. Yes. I had a couple of days off, and then I got to play on the ferry, which was interesting. I was very stressed about collecting my gear from the car on time and things like that, and my setup is kind of almost more of a hassle to only take one speaker than it is to just take the whole lot, which is not ideal when you're in a bit of a hurry. So we got there and I got set up, and it was way more casual than I expected. There was probably only a handful or 2 people in the bar. We performed, but I mean about halfway through I started to feel just a tiny little bit seasick. Not much, but you know, if that had crept in anymore I would have been glad that there was no one there. I stayed a night in Wellington at the worst backpackers in the world. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it was called. Then I had a long drive the next day to Taupo. I just randomly decided to stay there for a couple of nights, and I found the open mic night that was there one of the nights I was there. It was quite cool there. I sold a CD before I even started singing. I can never complain about those sort of places. And then I played in Papamoa on the Friday, which is near Tauranga if you're not too sure. And you're literally looking right out over the beach. It's the most beautiful place ever. And it was that Friday actually that I drove from Taupo to Papamoa and played at Papamoa that my EP came out officially, and it reached #1 on the iTunes country chart and #7 on the all genre chart, which was pretty exciting. I looked at it first thing in the morning and I kind of expected the country chart position. Maybe it was wishful thinking, but the all genre I didn't really imagine it would touch the top 100 to be honest, and when I woke up it was 20 something I think. Can't remember. Anyhow, I thought, oh yeah, that's good. I knew a few people had pre-ordered it, and that was probably the only orders I was going to get that for the EP. So I sort of accepted that that was as high as it was going to go, and then throughout the day while I was driving, which was not exactly safe, I kept on getting all these messages as it was climbing up the charts, it was a pretty special day. And yeah, it made it even more special catching up with friends at Papamoa for that gig, making new friends, and one of them requested a shotgun, and so I started playing my shotgun, and it was quite cute because at first they were a little annoyed, I think, but by the end of the song they decided that was their favourite song, called Shotgun. On the Saturday there was a music industry event on that I kind of wanted to go to, so I went along to that, got to meet some awesome people there and listen to some workshops and things. And on the Sunday night, the night before I flew out to Nashville, which was not the greatest planning on my part, I had this big gig in Auckland at a place called the Beach Bistro, and I was really uncertain about how it was going to go because it was ticketed and the ticket price included food, so even I wouldn't really pay $30 to go to an artist I wanted to see unless they were incredible. I don't know. I'm very stingy. But there was only a couple of spaces left really. It would have been kind of tight fitting more people in. So even though we weren't officially sold out, it was pretty close to it if you ask me. And yeah, it was just this really cute, intimate setting, really amazing staff and audience, people who came to actually listen to music, which you don't get a lot of at some of the pub gigs, but that's all good. They both give different rewards, I guess. You do them both for different reasons. The other special thing about the Auckland show was that half the audience was actually made up of people who were on the New Zealand team for the competition I did in LA about this time last year, and they were all in the Wish Me Like music video, so I always say Wish Me Like till the end of my gigs, and it was pretty special. I almost cried. It's a happy song and I almost cried just because everyone was singing along and dancing along. It was pretty special. And yeah, that was sort of the extent of the Better Late Than Never tour. I finally got to the North Island. I've been talking about playing gigs there for forever, and I'm sure there'll be many more tours to come.